The PlayStation Store's holiday sale got a little bit of an update, and considering we are wrapping up the sale, I still do want to take a look at games that are a little bit more on the pricey side. We took a look at games under the price of $5 and $10, but here we're going to let the handcuffs come off, and we're going to look at all the games, no matter the price. I don't think we went crazy, however, I don't even think we have a game over $20. Yeah, we don't have a game over $20, so we're still staying pretty much on the cheap end, and a lot of great games as well. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and I want to start things off with Assassin's Creed, the Ezio collection. This is AC2, AC Brotherhood, AC Revelations. I am a sucker for the older Assassin's Creed games. The amount of times I beat the pre-Assassin's Creed Origins AC titles outside of Assassin's Creed Unity would like shock you guys. I think I beat AC4 probably like 7 times. I think I beat AC2 like 4 times. Brotherhood definitely 3 or 4 times. Revelations I beat twice. Syndicate I had a playthrough and a half, I think. Maybe I beat it twice. Who knows? Just know that I played those games like crazy, so that's why I get a little bit more salty when talking about Assassin's Creed these days, because the format shift isn't my cup of tea. Still, go back and play AC2, Brotherhood, and Revelations if you have not. Thinking about it, AC2 came out all the way back in 2009. At the end of the year, it's going to be 12 years since the release of AC2, which is kind of crazy to think about. If you're like the age of 20, you were at age 8 when AC2 came out. Your parents might have not even let you play Assassin's Creed back then. I know my parents wouldn't have let me play M-rated games when I was 8. So there is a new audience that has never experienced the Ezio trilogy, and I would highly recommend you to do so. Just great games. Ezio's a great character, not my personal favorite Assassin's Creed character, but a great character nonetheless. And I think that'll be my cue to stop simping for the old school AC titles. Next up, we have Judgment 1999. This is done by the Yakuza studio, and of course they're getting a lot of attention right now based on the release of Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon. This is a really good gateway title to their other games, because this is one that's built ground up for the PlayStation 4, and you see the graphics there, and I think a big element, English voice acting. I think that's gonna be a little bit hard to get over with some of the Yakuza games, that they don't have English voice acting, but Judgment, on the other hand, has that, and the game itself is really good, a lot of content. I would recommend it at $19.99. Next up, we have Dreams, Media Molecule's PlayStation 4 exclusive. You know, Dreams is a pretty interesting title because, while if you look at the Metacritic score, incredibly well received. If you look at the studio that developed it, great studio in Media Molecule. However, I don't think it really resonated at a high level, meaning that I just don't think a lot of people checked it out, which is unfortunate because Media Molecule is going to remain incredibly committed to this game, and it's a game with so much longevity. I'm sure the game sold perfectly fine, but I think if we're talking about PlayStation exclusives performing well, I think Dreams should be a little bit higher on the list. Great game, and at $19.99, you're getting so much content, so much longevity, so much life out of a game, with the creation level and Media Molecule saying themselves that they're going to remain committed to this game. At $20, I think it's a great pickup. Next up, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition. Kingdom Come Deliverance was one of those RPGs this generation that I think went a little bit under the radar as well. Open world RPG, realistic feel to it. Performance at times is a little bit not, the best thing in the world, but visually the game looks great. The Royal Edition as well includes all the DLC content, so that's pretty nice, and it's 65% off for $14. A great pickup, and again, one of those RPGs that a lot of people missed out on. Might not be for everyone if you don't like more of the historical elements to it, but I really dug the game and I had a great time with it. And $14, if you actually look at the price point versus the content that you're getting, the amount of content as well, pretty ridiculous pickup here, so I'd give that a shot. Next up, Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy, 75% off for $17.49. If you are a fan of Naruto, this is something I would highly recommend. This gets you Storm 1, Storm 2, Storm 3, as well as Storm 4, what's it called? The Road to Boruto edition. So, how this works is Storm 1's a single player is like pretty terrible. It's honestly not that great. Might be worth going through. There's some cutscenes here or there that are pretty nice, but outside of it having a decent world to explore, it doesn't really flesh out that first portion of Naruto's story that well. However, once you get to Storm 2, boy oh boy, you're going through the Naruto story and it's fantastic. And then Storm 3, same thing, gets a little bit wonky at the end with Storm 3, given that the anime hadn't wrapped up at that point. but still a really good time. And then Storm 4 is really great as well. As far as anime games are concerned, dude, I grew up with anime games. I picked up a lot of them when I was a kid and super into anime. Not as big into anime these days, although that AOT Season 4 just started. You know I'm gonna be on that, although still gotta go back and finish up a bit of Season 3, and Season 3 was incredible from what I watched. Okay, this ain't an anime channel. Naruto, Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm Legacy, however, for $17.49. I think it's a good pickup. Even if you're not the biggest Naruto fan in the world, Storm 2 and Storm 3 are so good from just a single-player standpoint that I think it's worth a pickup, and this isn't a super technical fighting game. It has some strategy here and there, but if you're talking about an arcade fighter, this is one that I think is really good and just super accessible. So do check that out. Okay, next up we have Valkyria Chronicles 4, 18 bucks. I believe the complete edition is $29.99, which isn't a bad buy either. Valkyria Chronicles 4 I think is excellent. It's a lot of the same from Valkyria Chronicles 1, but that's not necessarily a bad thing given that VC1 was fantastic. But there are a couple of additions I like in Valkyria Chronicles 4. A lot of people thought VC1 was a little bit difficult. They have an easy mode in Valkyria Chronicles 4, which at that point, if you're playing on easy, should be pretty straightforward to get through. But the best thing about the game is it retains the incredible presentation. I think that was the star standpoint of Valkyria Chronicles 1. Awesome visual style, awesome way to tell the story through the use of a storybook. Yeah, you don't have a giant open world to explore, but not every RPG needs to be this grandiose open world RPG. The way this game fleshes out its story, it's really well done. And given the amount of content you're getting, it's definitely one I would recommend if you're into JRPGs, or even if you're not. This is one that I think it's a pretty good story. It's kind of light on the tropes. I mean, there's a trope or there, two here or there, but it's not, you know, overly bad with it. While something like Trails of Cold Steel, that might be a little bit harder to get into if you're not the biggest JRPG fan in the world. Valkyria Chronicles 4, on the other hand, fantastic game, 18 bucks, strong recommendation. Next up, we have a game that I personally really enjoyed, and that is Control Ultimate Edition, 50% off for $19.99. Put aside the whack that is the fact that owners of the original Control are not getting a free upgrade. Dude, the amount of content you're getting with the Ultimate Edition is pretty damn great. You get the base game and both expansions, and those expansions had a pretty good amount of content. And in my opinion, this was the best game done by Remedy, and Remedy's done some pretty good titles. Alan Wake was great. Quantum Break, a little bit more on the side, but if I think Control is better than Alan Wake, I think that does say something. Gameplay was awesome, visuals are great, and the story at times sometimes a little bit hard to follow, but I think overall, you're getting a quality story here. It's Remedy, you know you're gonna get that element of it, but I think the gameplay is what really stood out to me and took this game over Alan Wake. Enjoyed that. $20 for this is fantastic. Next up, another great JRPG, NieR Automata, game of the YoRHa edition, $19.99. It's NieR Automata. I mean, if you haven't picked it up yet, I would recommend you to get on this ASAP. Platinum Games gameplay, you know the gameplay is going to be slick, you know it's going to be stylish, visuals are great, and the music in this game, man, if you want to talk one great element about the game, remove the other great elements, but the music is something that really stands out. Fantastic, and that was one of those elements in the original NieR that was also really good. Retained that in spades in NieR Automata. $19.99 for it is a fantastic pickup as well. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown is 67% off for $19.79. This is one that went a little bit under the radar back when it came out January of 2019, I want to say. Came out right around the time of Resident Evil 2 Remake as well as Kingdom Hearts 3, so this kind of took a tertiary position as far as that's concerned. But game is great. Action flight title. Don't expect a flight sim, expect more of an action-oriented title. Great music here as well. Pretty decent story on top of that. And if you've never even played an Ace Combat game, jump in with AC7. You're gonna like it. And this price point is perfect. I could understand you trying to avoid the game at a full $60, but at $19.79, great pickup here as well. And lastly, I mean, this is a game everybody should already own, but if you don't, Bloodborne Complete Edition on bundle is $15.04. Now, this game, I believe, is available as a part of the PlayStation 5 Instant Game Collection, but hey, if you want to own the game, if you want to get the DLC, I think the Complete Edition bundle is pretty good. Out of all the Soulsborne games, and I'm really enjoying Demon's Souls Remake, Bloodborne, I think, is my favorite game still. It's just one that really hit it home with me. I love the setting of the game. I thought the gameplay was great. I mean, it's your Souls gameplay, although a little bit different. And when it comes to Souls, it's definitely the nuances of the mechanics that make all the difference. The boss battles in this game, My god, fantastic as well. And the DLC, I mean, a lot of people checked out base Bloodborne, but they never got around to the Old Hunters. That adds quite a bit as well, and you're gonna really dig that. If you're a fan of the base game, you'll like Old Hunters. 1504 for this, I think, is a great pickup as well, so check that out if you're one of the 3 people left in the world that have not played Bloodborne. That's gonna wrap up this video. Again, a lot of great deals available right now. This one, we're covering some that are a little bit more on the pricey side, but still very much worth it. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.